It's Halloween Kills. Oh, were you muted there? I could barely hear you. Wait, what do you think of my Halloween Kills mask?
Where did you get that?
I'm not too sure. It was ordered for me. The hair looks quite accurate.
Looks like this is something. This is something the kids would make at nursery, man.
Oh man, wait a minute. Oh man, where did my hat go? Oh, sweet transition.
That's horrendous, but
Yeah,
10 points for effort.
Thanks, ladies and gents. Welcome to our episode on Halloween Kills in association with Bathgate Cinema, Aloha Cinema, and what's the name of the other cinema, J-Mac?
Arbroath.
Like, I knew that. I just wanted you to have your input. This is your input.
Totally.
Arbroath.
Arbroath.
It's like this.
Diplomatic community.
Arbroath.
Man.
Arbroath Cinema's class, man. It's a really, really cool wee cinema. Obviously, it's a bit of a trek for where we are, but it's nice to. My mum and dad have got a caravan there, so it's nice to have a local cinema that's not a big chain cinema that we can go to, and it's a great setup, man. It's such a cool wee theatre, man. It's sweet.
Class. Daz Mishi? Say that.
I'm going to say Mitchie.
Daz Mitchie says brawl looks good.
Probably Darren Mitchell, and he's trying to keep himself hidden. Spoiler alert.
So today on this episode here, we're going to be chatting about Halloween Kills. So everybody at home that is watching this, we're going to chat about this without spoilers for the majority of the episode, and then maybe at the end we'll say we will give you plenty warning. I know J-Mac's not really good at doing that usually, but we will give you plenty warning when it comes to the spoiler part of the show, where we can talk about the bits that everyone shouldn't know. But aside from that, this is going to be dedicated to Halloween Kills, because this, for us, man, how long have we been waiting for this? A year longer than we should have.
A year longer than we should have. I mean, basically been waiting on it since we've seen the Halloween 2018. I think basically as soon as that was the success that it was, they were like, right, okay, we're going to do more. And it was supposed to be 2020 and 2021. But obviously it got pushed back a year because of some thing.
Yeah, exactly. So listen, I'm going to play the trailer so everybody is aware exactly what we're talking about. So sit tight. Oh man, I'm going to watch it again.
Epic.
Stephen Thompson says evening. Right, so
Evening.
Let's get down to brass tacks. Before we do that, actually, make sure to get your cinema tickets at bathgatecinema.co.uk and alohacinema.co.uk. Book your tickets. It's the 29th. Halloween comes out on 29th of October. You can go and see it as of that date. Make sure you do, because it's a bloody good movie. Or is it, J-Mac? But we're going to get into it. Right, so I'm going to kick this off, right? Halloween, 1978. A masterpiece, something that essentially started the genre, the slasher genre. It's safe to say that Halloween 2 is accepted. Halloween 3 is what's Halloween 3, and the rest are just like, that is the general consensus of the Halloween franchise.
Yeah,
from the fan base.
In general, that's probably about right. Aye.
Right, and then I mean, I know I'm wearing the this is The Curse, isn't it? No, The Curse of Michael Myers, which probably is one of my least favorite movies, but still.
That's the Halloween 6, isn't it?
Yeah, but it still holds up. Kinda. There's bits, right? We'll get into that.
There's bits.
Right. So, for a bit of background here on Jamie Lee Curtis and her relationship with this movie, to kind of give you an insight as to why this is quite successful, right? Before I do so, Kellyanne Ramage says, good movie. Well, we're going to get into exactly why that is. Heather Douffer says, hi, guys. Hi, Heather.
I think Douffer's just become a thing. You might as well just change your name on the page to Douffer.
Yeah, I hope she does. Hashtag Douffer. Right. So, Jamie Lee Curtis was in Halloween. It was her first movie. And by the way, Halloween, the very first one, the 78 one, there's a lot of characters in that named after characters in the movie Psycho, the Hitchcock movie, right? And it just so happens that Janet Leigh's daughter is cast as the main. Coincidence? I think not, right? So this was her door to Hollywood. And then as a thank you for making her the star she is, she came back and done the second movie for John and Deborah, and then was like, right, guys, I'm off. I'm out of this. I'm not doing horror. Horror is a gateway for her. She used it as a gateway.
Yeah.
Then 20 years later, so miss everything between that time. 20 years later, she contacts John Carpenter and says, we're all still in the movie business. I am, you are, we're all still working and are more famous now than we were when Halloween came out. Why don't we do something for 20 years later? She then came up with this idea that she's been running from Michael Myers, right? So it goes 1 and then 2 and then misses the rest and goes straight to Halloween 20 years later.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is that she is essentially a prisoner on the run and she's not living the life, kind of similar to what she's playing in the new Halloweens. She's on the run and she's not happy with her life because she feels like she's continuously, like she's not living, she's hiding.
She's always looking over her shoulder.
Yeah.
Just waiting on the day that the shape comes back.
Right. And the purpose of this movie was she was going to turn around and say, you know what? No, I'm not going to run. And she's going to face her fear and overcome it. Ta-da, Halloween 20 years later. So this was the idea. John was like, let's do it. They got producers, they got actors, they got the ball rolling. John had butted heads with a couple of different ideas with the studio and whatnot. And he was like, right, I'm out. I'm not doing this. Fuck this. You know what John Carpenter's like?
Then, he doesn't really like anybody telling him anything about anything.
No, especially when he created it. But he then is like, right, I'm out of here. And Jamie Lee Curtis is like, oh, well, I'd be out of here, but Mustafa Akkad's paying me a lot of money and everybody's already hired. And if I leave, it's done. And I don't want to do that. So I will stay as long as she kills Michael Myers. They're like, well, there's this wee thing on this contract here that says he can never be killed. So no movie is able to kill him. And then she's like, oh, and then she's like, well, I'm out. And they're like, no, wait a minute. What if you believe he's dead, your character, right, hear me out, and the audience believe he's dead? Will that work? And she's like, fine, on the condition that in the next Halloween movie, because there's going to be a sequel, you've signed me up to it, in the next Halloween movie, Laurie is in an insane asylum because she can't deal with the fact that she killed someone innocent and not Michael. And then you kill me to get me the fuck away from the Halloween franchise. And she actually said, and that's the reason I had to be in Resurrection.
Actually, I rewatched Resurrection recently.
Yeah.
And I kind of gave up about 40 minutes in. I was like, nah.
The minute Busta Rhymes walks on screen.
Motherfucker.
Oh, man. Craig Matthew, man, one hell of an artist, says, sup guys, watched this last night. Looking forward to this.
Cool. Stick around. It's going to be fun.
Yes. We're going to keep it spoiler free for the major part of
for the first 10 minutes.
Right. Not going to happen. And then we'll maybe talk about the spoilers towards the end. Right. So that kind of catches you up on the previous, right? Then David Gordon Green and Danny McBride come up with the idea to reboot the franchise. And what I love about, the 2018 remake of Halloween is the fact that it starts exactly the same as Halloween 1978, but instead of the pumpkin shriveling and dying, it then kind of remorphs back to life, which was a metaphor for the franchise. We're going to put some life back into and I was like, see that shit, man. That gets me.
Look at how well prepared you are for tonight, man. I mean, look at the graphics you've done. Look at the intro you've done. You had a mask ready. You're wearing a t-shirt. I'm sitting here in a Marvel shirt and a Fila hat.
You don't even like Marvel, mate. You don't even like Marvel.
I take exception to that. Over the past 2 days, me and my son have watched Thor and Thor Ragnarok and both thoroughly enjoyed ourselves. So there is exceptions to the rule. Definitely exceptions. We did start Thor: The Dark World as well, but he said Dad, I don't like this one as much. Can we watch Ragnarok again? I was like, all right.
Ragnarok was all right, but hey, you're fucking segueing us, mate. Talk about something Halloween. Here we go.
So your preparation for this has been outstanding, so much that
Thanks,
you've
man.
actually jumped back to the previous 20 films.
And I done it really quick as well.
It's not bad. That's not bad. It's pretty good going. So that, like you said, you're talking about the pumpkin kind of rising for the ashes like a phoenix or like a Michael Myers, if you will. The intro to Halloween Kills was pretty cool as well. It was a bit different. For some reason, there was hundreds of pumpkins and they were all on fire. So I'm not quite sure. I'm still trying to work out what the metaphor is for that one. But
spoiler alert.
I spoiled a title sequence.
No, my interpretation with that was that they're now following a different viewpoint, and those different pumpkins are the igniting of unity between different people in the town. Because this is not a spoiler, this essentially wasn't Laurie's story anymore. It was the story of the town.
Yeah.
And I think that's why there was so many pumpkins.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
I mean, I've read that nowhere. I didn't watch a Chris Tuckman video and go, "Oh, that's my idea now." Like, I genuinely came up with that myself because I wondered also why was there so many pumpkins, you know?
Aye. I mean, it kind of threw me for a loop. I was always like, all the pumpkins. But I suppose it's open to anybody's interpretation. These things always are. Do you know what I mean? So the 2018 film, like you said, it starts pretty much the same. It's also a really similar story. He just escapes for prison and starts killing people. Now, the way that film ended was they left it in a way that they could revive it if they wanted to, if it was a success, or they could just leave it where it was. But I think obviously slightly ambiguous with the fact that you could still hear the mask after the screen went black. You could hear the breathing. We're still talking about 2018, by the way.
Yeah.
So that was a success. So they're like, okay, we're going to make another 2, Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. So we know that this film is going to be essentially the bridge between the first and the last of this new trilogy. That's pretty obvious for the get-go. What do you think about how it was executed, how it played out?
The full movie.
And we'll do in a nutshell first, then we'll talk.
In a nutshell, it was everything it had to be. It was everything it had to be, to the point where I actually predicted pretty much, not absolutely everything I'd said already. And if you look back on our timelines as well on social media, I said pretty much everything that happened in this is what I said would happen. It's what I think needed to happen. People look at this movie, and the people that are unsatisfied with it are like, "Oh, it didn't have this. It didn't have this." Yes, because the story is a trilogy. There's 3 parts to this, and this had to be that part. Michael, like in Empire Strikes Back, Michael had to gain back his credibility. Why? Because he was bested by 3 women in the previous movie. He was bested. Gotcha. Yeah.
What am I meant to do with that?
What?
Just the story you told me before we went on there just reminded me of that.
All right, yeah. So he was bested by 3 women. So imagine this, like, so I'll tell you what doesn't happen, right? So it's not really a spoiler. But imagine you watch again Halloween Kills, and he gets bested again by the same 3 women. Would you not be like, it's like every Harry Potter movie. Voldemort shows up, he's like, and then nothing happens.
Is this quandary that people always face when it comes to reboots, sequels? It's like, well, we can't just do the same thing again because people will get bored, but we can't do anything too different or people get pissed off. I think this film did go down quite a brave route either way that they took it. I think they, like you said, I think they have taken it the way it has to go for this bridge between the first and the third in this trilogy. I mean, there are positives. I mean, some of the kills are really pretty creative. Although I'm a bit of a purist when it comes to Michael. I don't like it when he kills anybody with anything except a knife. I don't know why. It's like, I don't know. I feel like that's part of him. So when he
Hmm.
uses a different weapon or multiple different weapons, I just feel it kind of takes away for the purity of what Michael Myers is. That might just be me. I don't know if there's a popular opinion on that. But when he uses, I mean, this is in the trailer. You see, he uses some kind of big poker thing to kill people. He uses a fucking what do you call it, a circular saw and stuff, and a few more creative things throughout the film. But I like Michael and his knife. That's Michael for me.
I mean, that's Michael Myers to a T. But he does get creative in other movies. One thing I will say for anybody watching, the stream on Facebook seems to be down for some reason, but I am going to post in the comments the YouTube link. We are now also live on YouTube. For some reason, the stream has gone down on Facebook. It's probably us getting banned for using a trailer that we have every right to use, but who knows? And of course, it had to happen to one of our favorite episodes. But head over to YouTube right now, Jibber Jabber Podcast. Some people are messaging me privately saying it's gone. Some people are still watching, and I did notice a drop in the numbers. So this is why I've put the link there. But like I say, Jibber Jabber Podcast on YouTube. If you're having issues watching via Facebook, you probably. Oh, by the way, anybody that is still watching, let others know that, please, because they're probably not watching this for me to tell them.
Aye, that's a good point. We're telling people on Facebook that Facebook's down. It kind of makes no sense.
Well, what else can I do, right? So yeah, we're going to continue on with the show as is, and it is what it is.
That's
So,
like it's like somebody's chapping on the front door and you shout, "I'm no in." It's the same thing. Look, he's not angry that it's went down. It's not nice.
That's not the same thing, because then they can hear you're there,
I'm
right?
reversing it.
What we're doing, right? No, you said it was the same thing though.
I'm reversing it. Shut it.
So you rang. You fucking dastard. Heather Dow says, I'm watching on Facebook and it seems okay at the minute. So it might just be some people having issues, but don't know. It might even be a Facebook issue. Any road.
Any road.
Yeah, you do see a couple kills in this movie that are flashbacks to the other ones. There we go. Kieran Young says, fucking in class. He must have heard us on Facebook.
Somehow.
Yeah.
So, that's what I don't know if it's a spoiler or not. The whole flashback thing.
Oh, Danny. Is it? I don't know.
I don't think there's anything in the trailer about it. So I think we might talk about flashbacks later.
Flashbacks. I read about flashbacks before it happened, so I didn't know it was going to happen, right? So there are flashbacks in this movie that explain a lot of things. Like when if you watch Halloween 2018 and you're like, how did this happen? And what about this? This movie covers it. I liken this new trilogy to Star Wars so much because Star Wars left you with a lot of questions, and Rogue One answered a lot of that, and so did Solo. So they're doing patch jobs. So I really, for this new David Gordon Green, we call it the David Gordon Green trilogy, right? And Dynamic Bride.
Aye.
It's doing
the D-double-D-D-M.
And by the way, not only how good the movie is, but the soundtrack, like the score. John Carpenter and his son are doing the score for all the new trilogy, which was a way of them saying, you know what, let's get the fans on the side.
He's definitely given David Gordon Green his blessing. I actually saw a bit of an interview earlier on with John Carpenter about these new films, and he's quite happy to sit there in a chair in front of a big poster for Halloween Kills and talk about it. So that's a massive thing for John Carpenter, because anybody that knows the history of Halloween, he's got a bit of a tumultuous relationship with it at best up until the 2018 one. So it's nice to know that he's on board and he gives it his actual blessing, not a Rob Zombie style blessing where he's like, fuck it, do what you want.
Well, apparently he said to Rob Zombie, you know, take it, just do it, make it your own. And then he made it his own. Rob Zombie made it his own.
People were like, this is rubbish.
And then John Carpenter was like, he fucking ruined it. He took away the mistake. There's just some people you can't please, and John Carpenter seems to be one of them.
I'd still love to have him on, though.
At some point, it would be pretty cool if he decides to answer my emails.
Watch it. So the flashbacks, pretty cool. We see um, the character of Hawkins. It kind of gives his history with the Michael Myers. It was mentioned in the previous film that he was like one of the first responders in 1978, so it shows you a bit of his backstory. And what I loved seeing it, man. I loved seeing the classic Myers, and it was spot on. There was not a hair out of place on that mask either. They spent so much time getting that costume right, and even the way he moved, everything was just perfect. They've got 3 people playing Michael Myers in this film,
That's right.
and I honestly don't think they could have done a better job with the shape. That's what I'll say.
I like James Jude Courtney. He brings something to the role completely. But Nick Castle being there also, and like the breathing through the mask, that's Nick Castle. I think it's cool to take certain amount of people to create one shape. Stego says, I don't want to say too much in case I spoil for others, but the Loomis add-on was amazing. Don't want to say too much, but Loomis is in it.
Aye, maybe read the comments before they come up. I think anybody that wants to actually make comments that are spoilers, make them, and we'll bring them up at the end when we're talking about it. Right? We don't just not comment for the sake of not spoiling.
Or maybe like comment and then comment those ones at the end when we're at it, because I'll lose it in the truffle shuffle. Heather Dow says, at risk of being shut down instantly, I remember thinking the first one was a bit meh. Right, wait a minute, let's shut her down instantly. And as you both know, I'm not a huge horror fan, but I watched the trailer for the fuck's sake, man, is this a script?
I watched the trailer for this one, and it actually looks quite decent. And I do plan on watching it. Not brave enough to see it in the cinema, but I will watch it.
It's class.
Don't watch it unless you need to revisit the other one, the other 2 actually. Watch 1 and 2 because there's so many callbacks to the original in this one. It's ridiculous.
Not just the original, but others as well. One thing I will say is I watched it with a friend of mine, Stego, who commented earlier, and before we watched it, he goes, "I'll no jump. I'll no be scared, right?" Motherfucker jumped about 5 times. Right? There's a part where Michael enters a room, and it's a very jumpy part, and he's like,
the thing is, this film is guilty of a couple of false jump scares, which I'm not a big fan of. But the jump scares that actually are jump scares work quite well.
And Sir Stego says in the comment section, "Fuck off, ya bam!" Ha 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 ha. It's great. Do you know one of the best things about Halloween Kills coming out in this October, is that we only need to wait till next October to see Halloween Ends.
Hi. Well, at this stage, you never know what the government's going to do is.
No, true. But like, there's so much to enjoy about this. If you wanted to see Michael Myers be, I won't even say classic Myers, because when you do watch the 78 version of Halloween, the original, he's not that great. Like, do you see that part where Laurie runs out of the house after he's like tried to stab her and misses and kind of slices her arm, and then she runs across the street? Like, it takes him ages to get out of that house.
It takes him ages to go anywhere. That's Michael Myers' thing. He's like the classic kind of Universal monsters. Like they would move like what's his name? Muhammad Ali talked about it in an interview. He was talking about, I think he was talking about Joe Frazier, and he's like, he walks like the mummy. It's like, and then he's just doing this walk like the mummy from the old film. But then he started talking about how in these old films they'd see the mummy. The mummy's like, they start running like hell. Then look behind them, and he's still there. Like he's right behind them. Like, is he waiting for them to turn around to bolt and then just stop him again? But Michael Myers did that as well. He walked everywhere. You never see him run. He moves fast a few times, but you never see him run.
I like how this movie as well gets into the psyche a little bit. Oh, got another comment or two here. Stego says, I only jumped once when the boy next to me elbowed me. I call bullshit. I counted more than once. Magdamine says, best setup ever in the original Halloween. Ha 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 ha.
The setup, the Undertaker.
The Undertaker actually got that from Michael Myers.
Oh, that's obvious.
Fact.
It's so eerie in that original because he's out of focus in the background. You just see the kind of white mask coming up. You're like, oh my god.
Yeah. One thing I'll say that, sorry, the Halloween 2018. So we know that we've erased every Halloween bar the very original, right? So it goes back to like the rules have changed. Is he supernatural? Is he not? Like, can he be beaten? Can he be killed? We did think at the end of the last one that he could, but as you've seen from the trailer, he can. He also he survives, right? So this one, like what? There's a few things that happen in this one where you're like, right, where are we going with this? And that leaves a question that I think will be answered. I think we'll actually get an answer. Like initially, when in the originals, in this one, he's part of Thorn, you know, with the tattoo.
Yeah, that's
right.
stupid shit.
And there's like a curse on him that allows him to not die. So, what's the excuse in this one? That's what I want to know.
It is addressed. He got it from Tyson Fury. What did he get from Tyson Fury? Are we talking about something that I've forgotten? The setup. Oh, aye. Basically, because Tyson Fury just refuses to go down.
Yeah.
So I have lost my train of thought. My train of thought is off the tracks. Where was I? Oh, it is addressed in this film very briefly about the fact that why is he not dying? There is a bit of kind of exposition on that. I'm sure they'll delve into it more in the next one when that comes out in a year's time. The characters in this film that show up, you've got a lot of callbacks to the original 78. You've got Lonnie, who, I don't know if you remember the scene where there's boys hanging about outside the Myers house in the original one, and Dr. Loomis is in, and he's like, "Hey, Lonnie, get your ass away from there." And they all kind of run away and shit themselves. So that's his callback in the original. You've got Tommy Doyle and Lindsay. What's her name?
Lindsay, I forgot her surname.
That's a long name. So you've got Tommy Doyle and Lindsay show up. Lindsay is actually played by the same actress that played her in the original. Tommy's not.
I know.
And we've got a new actor playing Tommy, Anthony Michael Hall, who's about an 80s icon from what I understand. He was in things like Weird Science and what was it, The Breakfast Club and shit like that.
Yeah, and Hysteria, the True Dead Leopard story.
Yeah. So he shows up. He's actually really good in the film. He is good in the film. The character Tommy is not so much.
Evil dies tonight. Oh, fuck off.
We need to talk about this. What we are giving this film its praises where it's due, right? It is doing something brave. It is doing something different. It's a really good bridge between the movies. It's going where it has to go. The dialogue in this film is horrendous, and I mean horrendous. It brings it for a solid 8 down to a 5.5 for me. It's, I mean, at certain points, you're sure they're going to break out into song.
Yeah.
It's like a Disney film at times. Like, see, this evil dies tonight, and you've got the mob, and it's like this fucking Beauty and the Beast. It's so silly, man. Even when there's two characters in a room talking to each other, the dialogue is nowhere near as strong as it was in the first one. Sorry, not the original, the first David Gordon Green one. The only scene where the dialogue was good for me was the old couple. That scene was pretty good, pretty funny, and pretty dark. Other than that, very, very weak when it comes to the writing.
Stego says, "It's Lindsay Wallace. Come on, J-Mac, you should know that, having a giant Wallace behind you. You only fight because you think she sees you.
Look at the size of my Wallace."
Right. We never actually kind of spoke about some of the new characters introduced. That there is a couple, the older couple, they were in Halloween 2018. Very briefly. But there's new couple that kind of live in the Strode house. No, the Strode house.
Yeah, the gay couple.
I thought they were great. Now, I had said this to Kieran earlier at my work today, right? That I believe that like they were ticking boxes with a gay couple, but I'm actually so happy with it because they were fucking class characters and I enjoyed them. Like so,
I think those characters with their flamboyance were the only ones that made the dialogue seem kind of half sensible. Because I think when the rest of it's played out so seriously, and the dialogue is shocking. Big John and Little John. I mean,
yeah.
I will give it to those two. Not like that, but
There you go, say it again.
no,
What would you do to them? What would you give both of them?
I'll give it to them. I'll give it to them.
Wee Mac.
Big John, Little John,
Wee
and
Mac.
Wee Mac.
Hashtag Wee Mac. Wee Mac.
That sounds like a cheap microphone manufacturer.
Wee Mac. I want to see hashtags on our social media. Hashtag Wee Mac. That's definitely something Craig Matthewman would fucking illustrate beautifully. Wee Mac. Big
Wee
John,
Mac.
Little John, and Wee Mac.
You could always
Wee
just
Mac.
super it. You could always just super my face on top of that Mexican midget you used in the last episode.
We all know that Wee Mac's definitely far smaller than Big John and Little John. Like Little John is Big John to Wee Mac.
So with those two characters, they have a cool scene with a few kids that are trick or treating. Kevin, we need to talk about those trick or treating kids and the masks they were wearing. I know you want to.
Right, so get this right, without mentioning the fact that they're silver shamrock masks, which we all knew because it was in the trailer.
Yeah.
Part of me hoped that those would be the dead corpses in the park, because not that I'm all in killing kids, but I say it a million times on this show, right? How badass would it be if Michael Myers killed kids? Then he doesn't seem to do it. Like, he's the boogeyman. He kills everything but kids.
I think it does, but we'll talk about it at the spoilers.
Well, Craig Matthewman says, loved a little shout out to Halloween 3 midway through the movie. Absolutely. And in 2018, those same kids are wearing the same costumes, and it's Laurie. Is it Laurie? She's like, get out of here! You know you shouldn't be out. There's a madman on the loose. Or is it one of the cops?
It was Lindsay.
No, in the first one. Lindsay isn't in the first one.
In the first one?
The 2018 one. The trick-or-treaters are wearing the silver shamrock masks, and they get told to fuck off.
I didn't even notice it in the 2018 one.
It's very, you have to really look for it. But those same kids are wearing the same masks, right? So they obviously they wore it again in this one. They got cheekier this time round. But I was totally happy if. Oh no! Wait a minute! Proper eye. I'm all for Michael Myers killing kids, but there's clearly points throughout the Halloween series where he's come close with kids, and he's no done them in. Bar 2018, because that wee kid gets it, but I think he only gets it because Michael wants the car. No, so much wants to kill the kid.
I think that was a bit of a kind of almost a shocking moment in that 2018 one, was when he actually killed. I mean, the boy must have been 12 or 13, and it was the first time that we'd seen him do that. I mean, most of the time he's killing kids that are 15, 16, 17, and nobody gives a shit. But if they're 12 or 13, it's awful.
Aye, absolutely.
So
evening all.
Evening all. So aye, it's as much as we give it praise for the things that it does right, we have to talk about the elephant in the room, which is the dialogue. I mean, this evil dies tonight. I think it shows up in the trailer at some point as well.
It's been said, so many,
but it's so cheesy, and it kind of harkens back to horror films of old, but not in a good way. And like I said, I did expect them to break into song a few times and start dancing down the street with pitchforks. It's like, this is
na 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 na.
Kill the beast. So, hospital scene was abysmal. It was. I mean, there is a message in there, and it's the danger in mob mentality, because it is a very dangerous thing, and I do get the message behind that entire scene. But again, it was just executed so poorly. David Fullerton says typical cringe American scene, and it was. See, when you see American kids hanging out of limousines shouting USA, USA, and you're just like, shut your mouth. I mean, it's the only country that does that. Nobody else hangs out the window going, Iran. Nobody else does it. They don't. We don't hang out of cars going Scotland, 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 unless there's a good reason for it, like winning something. How often does that happen?
Even then, it's no Scotland. It's yes, fucking ring.
You're gonna burst some eardrums tonight, son. But it was that kind of evil dies tonight, evil dies tonight.
Come on,
chanting is like, come on. So if you can ignore all that shit and just take the story and the kills and how it's going to all link together, it is quite done. It is quite well done in that respect. But take the dialogue, ignore the dialogue. They better do better for the next film. I think it seems to me like this one, it just didn't feel like it was written by the same people.
The thing is, I think there's a lot of non-moving parts, so to speak. I believe the movie the story didn't progress. It didn't progress afar, and it can't really because it's still in the same night as the first, like the 2018 version. So I do believe that this one was kind of they had to stagnate it a little bit. It's Michael rebuilding his lost. He had his lost credibility. He's trying to rebuild that, and he absolutely does. Magda Mean says, "I'm on the night shift."
I mean, I think the problem that they face is that horror films historically can't really be more than. I mean, a good length of time for a horror film is like an hour and a half, an hour and 40 minutes. That's a good horror movie length. To tell the story they want to tell, they could do it in a 2.5 hour movie, but I think people can get restless with horror movies that are that long. So they've went, nah, let's Harry Potter this, and we'll split it into 2. I'd be quite happy with one film. Do you know what I mean? I think that once the next one comes out, they could actually do an edited version that puts the 2 films together, takes out scenes that don't need to be there, and fucking reshoots some shit that is just abysmal. And you could end up with an epic second part to the 2018 one. Not saying, like we say, we have given the film its praises where we think it's due, but there's a lot of things that are in there that don't need to be, and the dialogue.
But I mean, let's put that aside. The kills. I mean, this movie does not lie when it says Halloween kills. Halloween doesn't kill. Michael Myers kills.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how this ranks in regards to body count when it comes to Halloween films. I've actually not looked it up. I meant to look up which Halloween film has had the most kills so far. This has to be close if it's not the highest count. Even if they're off screen. I mean, the firefighter scene, which is in the trailer, that alone, there's 11 deaths in that one scene. When you think about the original film, there was only 3.
Was it only 3?
I'm sure 3, maybe 4. In fact, it was 4. It was the mechanic that he killed to get his uniform, and there was the 2 girls and Bob. And that was it.
Says he went from 0 in 2018 to roid rage in the new one. I believe that's because he got bested. Like, he does come off quite raging in this one. The kills are just... It's weird though, right? See, when you look at Michael Myers as the masked madman, right? The guy that...
Actually, hold the mask up again for people that haven't seen it. If I put it on again.
No, I'm not putting it on.
No, put it on. Put it on.
No,
put it on. Evil dies tonight.
Oh,
put it on. Evil dies tonight.
It's the mouth that's my favourite part. Look, he's like,
I feel like Michael Massey.
No, that's Michael Myers.
What is that? If that had a tag on it that says officially licensed, is lying.
I know. And I know it wasn't even from Wish. Fuck. Look. But,
it's like he's in the room.
You sound just like him. Right, so
So you want to hear my Michael Myers impression? That's it.
the thing is, right, when you see Michael Myers in a room, it's scary because he's this big guy with the mask. When you take off his mask, it was nice to kind of get a glimpse at what's under the mask that's not actually Tony Moran from the original. This guy. I just think to have
Kevin's had a long week.
not as long as some others, but long enough. To see
That's
him
what she
without the
said.
mask. Did she? I bet she did. To have him without the mask and still have that kind of haunting feeling that you're about to get done in was quite good, because you didn't really get that in the first one or in 2018. You do get to see him though, however. The gun kill was a belter, says Stego.
I actually laughed out loud at the gun kill.
Oh man.
The thing is, we'll talk about it as spoilers.
Heather Dow says, "Look at the size of the lugs. How can you see J Mac's lugs? He's got headphones on."
I think she's talking about your brilliant mask.
And Stego says, "I suggest any fan of the franchise to go listen to Taking Shape. Amazing book and amazing audiobook." Can I just say that Stego heard about that right here on this here podcast?
He did. And I'm
look at
sure he
him.
was one of the winners of the competition to get a free copy.
He was, along with Dowfer. Taking Shape is incredible. It gives you hours and hours. You can go and check out that episode actually of
I'm on
Dustin.
Taking Shape 2 right now.
As am I. I am also on it too.
I'm actually switching between 2 audiobooks just now, which I don't normally do.
I actually listened to the novelization of 2018, and there are a few different scenes that can explain a few different things. Other than that, it's quite the same.
Right.
One was in fact that Hawkins may not be dead, which turned out to be correct, and the other was when Karen turns to Laurie and is like, "You prepared me for this our whole life, and I laughed at you." It's basically, "Sorry, Mum, that we all thought you were the crazy lady, but you were absolutely right."
Mm-hmm.
And Laurie just being like, instead of going, "Told you so, see, I'm always right," she just gave her a hug and was like, "We gonna get." It's like you finally get to see them on the same path, you know.
Yeah.
So Laurie has no ego. She just kind of, and there's a few others, but you should definitely check that out.
It's one thing that it was addressed in the 2018 and this one again, and it's the fact that Laurie's obviously spent all this time preparing for Michael's return, but Michael isn't he actually asked? he's genuinely not asked with Laurie. She just thinks he is, but it's that whole thing. Just because you're just because you're paranoid doesn't mean that there's nobody following you.
Yeah.
But he does not care about Laurie. It was Dr. Sartain that kind of orchestrated this whole thing. But Michael couldn't give half a shit.
Yeah, absolutely. He's just like kill.
Yeah. All he wants to do is go back to his house. He wants to kill people and then go and stick his feet up. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Like I say, I like the fact that we get to know a bit more about Michael. There's nothing really that doesn't give a lot away. He is just this shape, isn't he?
Yeah, I saw a discussion on Facebook earlier on one of the fan pages about it was this woman. She's like, "Oh, this is really annoying me. Why is he credited as the Shape and not Michael Myers?" And I was like, "I thought you were a fan."
I know.
It's like he's been called the Shape since 1978. So it's to illustrate the fact that he may not be all human,
which he clearly may not be.
But again, that's been clear since the first one. Nobody can survive 6 gunshot wounds, a fall for a second floor balcony, and then just walk away.
Yeah. I shot him 6 times.
My favorite was the end of Halloween 4. No.
I mean, Daniel Harris is just standing like that at the top of the stairs.
I No,
No!
Watch Halloween 4.
Dickie Two Guns is in
That's the best name I've
the
ever
house.
heard.
It is. I don't think his name's Two Guns, as in like gun. I think it's Guns, probably German or something. Guns.
I'm assuming his name doesn't have a 2 in it. I've got a feeling it might be a screen name, Kevin. Unless he's one of Elon Musk's kids. Your names don't tend to have numbers in them.
Hey, Craig Matthewman says, calling it now. Michael's a silver shamrock Irish robot dude. By the way, that wouldn't be a terrible idea.
It would.
No,
I'm going to wholeheartedly disagree with you there.
So you're telling me if Michael Myers was indeed a robot created by a shaman, or we call them a warlock, right? By the shaman, the warlock that owns Silver Shamrock, because he wanted to kill kids. That's the only thing. Michael doesn't want to kill kids. He does want to kill kids. It would explain the strength, the lack of dying, because those robot dudes in Halloween 3 also were not completely robotic. They could almost pass off as human as well.
I need to rewatch Halloween 3. It sounds like a fucking hoot.
Mate, Halloween 3's class. Didn't even. That's a whole nother podcast, but didn't even. By the way, Craig Matthewman, you might be onto something there, mate. Or at least imagine we get a callback and Halloween ends, and it's wee Mikey Myers and his sister Judith heading out to Silver Shamrock. All right, and he goes in and he's like, "Oh, this place is class." He's dressed up as a clown, and they hand him a wee badge, and the wee badge goes do it, and then he stands at his window, stares at the window, and is like, "Ken, what? Judith, man, come here. Have you? Right?" Then goes away to Smith's Grove, just kind of stares at the window because the button badge has controlled him.
And somehow grows.
Right? Aye, grows older, of course.
Aye.
Well,
as
no,
a
but
robot.
no, what I'm saying is the pendant that he wore, that the guy gave him, controls him. So he's maybe not a robot, but the pendant makes him kind of a robot. He's kind of a robot. And so at least that would be something, by the way.
And it would be something. It wouldn't be good, but it'd definitely be something.
Telling you it would be class. Telling you right now it'd be class. All right,
man.
And imagine Tom Atkins shows up and Halloween ends. Hey, imagine that.
Is that a guy for Halloween 3?
Yes. Stego says, if he was then stabbed, would he know spark instead of bleeding?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. It could be living tissue of a metal endoskeleton.
Right, Stu Arnold. Right. Thing is.
That was better than Stu Arnold. He's a prick.
I did say this, Stego. I did say kinda a robot. So he's obviously not been stabbed in the bit.
What's kinda a robot? Like I could have a pacemaker, I'm kinda a robot.
Kinda a robot. Well, that's not for me to explain. That's for Danny McBride and Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
I'm sure they can do better. Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
David Gordon Green.
Actually, Joseph Gordon-Levitt is Halloween alumni, so I'll let you have that one.
You got a nice skate to the face.
Hi. So we are I think we're kind of getting towards the end of the opinion part of the film, and we're going to be moving on to spoilers soon. But I think just to say it again, the film does what it has to do to get to the next one. I think they could have just done it as 2018 and then one more film, but it would have been a bit long for modern audiences with attention spans that are, thanks to things like TikTok, about 3 minutes.
You can talk, mate. You can talk.
I know. Mate, that actually
it
started to affect my attention span.
You kidding? Really I don't have conversations with you anymore. It's just TikTok links you send me. You speak in TikTok links now.
It's just some of our class.
Craig Matthewman says something that's so true. Tom Atkins would show up and shag everyone.
Is he the doctor? See
He's the guy. He's the main character in the third one, and he meets
Mustachio.
someone. It's basically like this. I think a kind of robot thing killed my dad. Did it? Aye. Let's go search for it. Okay. Let's get a motel. Okay. Wanna fuck? Yes. Samurai cop. It's a bit more subtle than Samurai Cop. A bit more subtle. It's like she didn't walk up and go, "Do you like what you see? Do you want to fuck what you see?" It's more. It's more that.
Bingo.
It's more that just kind of it just happens very quick with no like build up, right? But that's like Craig Matthewman says there. Do believe it's down to the tash. Like if you've got just like your face and all you have is a tash and it's the tash, you're gonna get some snash. You get me?
I mean, I think yours is getting there. It's a wee bit Gomez Adams at the minute, but it's getting there.
Mate, this is like Halloween Kills us to a trilogy. This is part of the bigger picture.
So your moustache is Return of the Empire Strikes Back.
You've ruined
is that what you're
it.
saying?
Sit down.
Ruined it.
Ruined it. You've absolutely ruined it.
So, Kevin, if you were going to give Halloween Kills a score out of 10, where would it sit?
Fucking 10. And do you know why I'm not taking any minusing any points for little small tidbits that we disliked about it? Do you know why I'm not taking them away? Because it's motherfucking Halloween, right? And I've looked forward to it. And the whole experience, it's not, oh, let's watch this movie. This for me has been an experience. Yeah. The excitement, the revisiting all the old movies, getting to talk about it on the podcast, watching interviews, everything, right? This has been a period of time for me. And that's the Halloween Kills period of time. I don't buy magazines. I got Total Film just to read what John Carpenter says. I could have checked it out on the internet, but I had to get the magazine. Why? Because of the artwork. Why? Because it's Halloween. It's been an amazing experience. And to say, I want to see this in a movie, Stego, I'm sure you can back me up here in the comments. Back me up. I said, this needs to happen. This needs to happen. This, and this needs to happen.
Careful.
If this happens, if this happens, I will be happy. And every single one of the things I said would happen, happened. So I was like, yeah!
How many podcasts do you tune into when folk are waving a fucking kitchen knife about? I mean, this is what we're here for, eh?
Did you think this was real?
I did. That's why I was saying be careful. I thought you were going to cut your finger.
Wow, so this is better than The Mask then?
I'll tell you what is real though.
No. Oh, what, man? That wasn't real. That was kind of real. Kind of robotic. That's WeMac.
So you're giving it a 10 then?
Yeah, absolutely. Because for me, it was an experience, and I never left there going, I was disappointed. I left there knowing there were parts that could have been something different, but I'm like, it is exactly what it needs to be. It is what it needs to be. I'm fine with that because I can watch all three when 3 are released, or 4, including the original. I can watch them all and go, that's that. That's the story. Yeah. I wasn't expecting everything to be in Halloween Kills. You have to save some for the crescendo. J-Mac, your thoughts?
The movie itself, in regards to the execution of it and the plot, I would probably give it 8 or 9. Pretty good story. Kind of moves it along to where it has to be for the next one. But the dialogue drops the score to a 5.5 and a 6. It is that bad. And I think it actually takes a lot for me to admit that, because I've been looking forward to this as much as you have. And I wasn't annoyed by it. I was just sad. I was sad that it was that cheesy in regards to dialogue. And that kind of brought the score down for me. But the film has done what it has to do to get us to the next one. So it's a stepping stone. Yes,
a very pleasurable one. Stego says, pretty much called it. That's him talking about me calling Halloween, right? Yes, I did. And he says, ha ha ha, it was one of the best in the whole series for me so far. Stego enjoyed it.
I'm still a Halloween 1978 guy.
Aye. Oh, I mean, come on.
I mean, that's itchy.
And anyone that's not watching this and is listening via Spotify or Google Podcasts is going to wonder what he's talking about. It's his
My
anus.
balls.
It's his
I thought
anus
I'd get there
balls.
before you. I thought I'd get there before you.
It's his anus balls. Yeah, so I'm really digging it. Tell us in the comments if you want us to spend the last 5 minutes or so talking spoilers, or tell us if you'd like us not to ruin it and you just want to see us talk about the final parts of this movie for the end of the show. So you have literally 1 minute to tell us if you want us to talk about spoilers, and at that point the numbers will go down because people don't want to see it, which I'm totally fine with because it's something you don't want ruined for you. However, I did call it, so it wasn't really a surprise to me when everything happened the exact way I said it would, which is exactly I wanted it to, which is why it got a 10. Stego says, spoilers all day. Let's go.
Right, well, the audience has called it.
Right, so before we do so, guys, anybody that doesn't want to hear the spoilers should probably end their viewing pleasure for the night, and we thank you for tuning in tonight.
But be sure to visit jibberjabberstore.co.uk and pick up your Jibber Jabber merch. I'm sure you've got a wee thing there. There we are. Look at that.
Yeah, you can find all the coolest threads there. We also have a Halloween homage T-shirt and everything. Some really cool stuff. Kieran says, "I don't queue. I queue for no one. I just walk straight into the front of the line." He says, "Want spoilers, but I'm fucking invested." Oh, see, this is where
You're going to have to go, Kieran. Sorry, man.
No,
Sorry, Mr.
no.
Young. You're gonna need to hang up the phone, son.
No.
Who's on the phone? I'm on the internet.
Remember that?
No.
You must remember dial-up.
No, I never had the internet. No, for a long time. My mum was like, "What's the internet?"
I remember watching TV with my mum one day, and it was an advert was on for, say it was Churchill or something, and it came at the end, Churchill.com, and my mum turned to me and she went, "What do you think about these .com things?" This is back in the early days of the internet. These .com things.
It's changing it, Mum.
There's Heather Dow plugging the new T-shirt. There is a new T-shirt on its way. Craig Matthewman has a T-shirt on his way as well because, he made that really cool art piece of my Terrifier, which was class.
Absolutely sublime, man. Give Da Vinci a run for his money,
mate. Absolutely would. And so Heather, I hope you've sent that. So yes, it's tied. Do we spoiler or not?
Yes. Let's face it, if we don't do spoilers, we're just going to end the show. So we might as well just keep talking and people can hang up if they don't want to hear it.
True, Kieran. I do apologise, lad, but we're gonna go into spoilers. And he's not seen it yet. He's gonna see it. And then once he does, he can come back to this, or he can just chat to me at work. So I mean, one of those things, but sorry, man. I actually feel really bad now. There's Heather. There's Heather as well jumping on the bandwagon. Yeah, go for it. Right. Okay. So there is going to be a 1 minute for everybody who's not wanting to see the spoilers to vacate. Again, guys, if you have joined us tonight for the first time, come back. Come back. And we're talking about plenty of
Come back.
stuff.
There's room on the floating door.
It's too late. He's fucking freezing. He's dead.
Well, plenty of room on that door, by the way.
I know.
There always was. Just both go up at the same time. Easy. Job's a good one. Going for opposite sides. Fucking head to toe. It's easy.
Take it easy, Kieran. Thanks for tuning in, mate. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, now, Kieran says, bullshit, can't type because I'm nothing. Great chat, guys. I'll go back over the rest when I was. Take it easy, man. Take it easy. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, spoilers. Man, I knew she was going to die. Called it. Called it.
Poor Laurie.
I right, mate. I knew
No, you
Karen was
did. I
getting
saw. I
smacked.
saw your post. Your post suggested that this was going to be the Empire Strikes Back of the new trilogy, and that Karen was going to cop it. Although in this day and age, I mean, seeing a Karen getting her comeuppance, it's always quite favourable.
Mate, what I said this leaving the viewing of it in my house, right, was that see when he's all stabby with her. One thing makes me think she could still be alive, and it's just that she never got a really Syrian.
It wasn't as visceral as the rest of the kills.
Right.
I mean, there wasn't like you don't see the knife going in as such. It's just a lot
Yes.
of kind of quick cuts and stuff like that.
Yes.
But
No, I'm thinking to myself, if we go into Halloween Ends and she's still alive, you have lost me. You have lost me. No, do not do it. She's dead. Leave her dead. Right? She
I don't know why
has
they
to
did.
die.
I don't know why they did it that fruit ninja style way. Do you know, it was
totally was,
it was
eh?
dead slashy. Like there was
Aye.
not a stabbing movement. I never noticed one anyway. It was all just
Nah.
whoosh, cut, whoosh, cut.
Now
Whoosh, cut.
remember they done that to Danielle Harris as well, and she came back in the second one.
Oh,
Right. Right. So I'm not annoyed with that. It was cool to have Danielle Harris back. However, her character Annie Brackett should have been dead. Right.
Aye.
So I've got some comments here before we continue. Stego, first of all, in Laurie's fiery basement, how the fuck did Michael know there was a shutter? He's like, boom, shops open, lads.
Shops home.
I know.
That's actually the fireman's lying there like, oh, I need help, and then shutters come up. Like, sorry, bread's just in.
I think Michael came out of the shutters because he heard what was going on. He heard something come through the ceiling, thought this is my way out. Now, the fact that that is fireproof. A gun locker in your house would be fireproof because if fire gets there, they'll explode. So that makes sense as to how he survived. I'm fine with that.
I suppose he would be strong enough to break the mechanism on a shutter door and stuff like that.
Totally.
Even a wee
totally
flashback to show him going behind the shutter would have worked.
Yeah. Stego says came out to get the morning rose and saw this guy. All right. Craig Matthewman says the scene where Mike's been cornered and about to take a kicking was awesome. Got chills when he picked the mask up. Hell yeah.
There's something about him putting the mask on that's brilliant. And the scene
And
in
then
the
that first
2018 one, and the 2018 one where he took it out of the boot of the car and he just pulled it on, it was epic, man. It kind of sends shivers up your spine.
Mm-hmm. The weird one, Slinging a Sharpshooter, love the name, says, I feel like Halloween Kills ending felt sloppy and rushed in my opinion.
I think it's not an ending. That's the thing.
That is absolutely the thing.
That's why it feels sloppy and rushed, because it wasn't an ending. And it does just end. I mean, I'll give it the fact that, I mean, the film's an hour and 3/4 long. It didn't feel as long as that. Like, all of a sudden it finished. I was like, is that it? I kind of had that Lord of the Rings Part 1 moment where I never knew Lord of the Rings was going to be a trilogy. It got to the end of the fucking first film and it was just starting. I was like, I've just watched 3 hours of the start.
Raging. Craig Matthewman says she's kind of a robot too.
Aye, that's what it is. Karen will be a robot. Everybody that died will be a robot.
All Karens are robots.
I'd like to see the wee black boy for the first one coming back. He was class.
He was in it. He was on the screen.
He was in a news report, but I'd like to see him back, man. He was funny. He
says, I love how it was all those firefighters who thought they were about to beat Michael. Yeah. By the way, right? See if there's a ton of, like, see there's me and 6 other firefighters, and we're all standing there with axes and chainsaws, right? And Michael comes at us. So I see him take my friend, right? Stab him up, throw him in there, throw him to the ground, crush his face. Then moves on to my next friend. See, at that point, that's when I'm like, lads, all in at once.
Aye.
They're all standing waiting on their turn to get done in.
They all suffered from Bruce Lee syndrome at that point. So this guy's hard as fuck. Let's all attack him one at a time. Right? That's the best approach we can have here. One at a time, but we'll leave the teacher till last because he's the best. So don't just jump in at once.
I know. By the way, there was a point in the movie where, and as well, the music goes so well with it. the points where Michael Myers kind of shows up in the room and just is staring. What a presence.
Mhm.
No, like this movie was full of really nice cinema photography and just
Cinema photography.
cinema photography and it just was just full of it.
Oh, that was rubbish.
That was actually such a letdown. That was Resurrection. That was Halloween Resurrection right there.
What was my first one?
That was Halloween.
For those of you that missed it, it's about 57 minutes in.
Says it. Michael was like, "Y'all are dead against the mob and firefighters."
Aye.
Yep.
As soon as he seen them, he was just like, so?
I know,
They see the
fuck
shot
this.
where he walked out the house and the water was coming down the house and the fire was everywhere. That was cool. It was, again, just these moments that made it really, really cool. But again, just let down by the dialogue.
Aye. The
And
whole
Tommy, what?
Wait, I pissed myself laughing, right? So Tommy's like, all the no, and then he gets stabbed and he's like, oh, goes down. And then you just see Michael, right? You just see his face and like a very close up. And then Michael's got his bat, and it's almost like in meme style. Michael's like, where's in bat? As Michael picks the bat, I'm like, you're fucking dead with your own bat.
Do I look like a baseball, you prick?
I just thought it was so funny seeing Michael with the bat and just like looking straight at him.
Baseballs didn't hit back.
It was the closest I've seen to Michael doing something funny. It was just like, here, this is your bat, aye. You're getting done with it, eh? Michael, he called you a walloper. Picks up the mask and slays cunts. Tommy had it coming. Tommy did have it coming. See with that fucking evil ends tonight. Do this.
I actually liked him at the beginning of the film. See when he first showed up on stage and he was like, Lanny put me up to this shit. I was like, oh, okay, I kind of like this guy. Then he told the story, and the story was a bit over dramatic, but he was doing it deliberately because it was Halloween and he's trying to make it dramatic. But then his character was just like that for the rest of the film.
There's Michael Myers, fucking Penguin for Batman. Come on, how many people know? How many people know who Michael Myers is? He's like, oh, I had a run-in with Michael Myers in the car park. No, you didn't. You should know this, Tommy Doyle. So wait, everybody, with me with my wee bat. Wait, I'll sort of get to fuck. I'm like, go and just do this, motherfucker. The weird one slinging sharpshooter said they wasted the legacy characters. Wasted in the fact that they all got fucking done in.
They got wasted.
They got wasted indeed.
The thing is, at least the I liked the scene in the car. I did enjoy that scene with those kills where you got the nurse for the first one. She got it, and so did the couple, the doctor and nurse couple. Again, pretty decent kills. And when she died, when the wife died, he just kind of opens the car door and it knocks the gun and she shoots herself in the neck. I was like, that's quite class. That was funny. Good. That was Michael Myers. But he kind of stood over her like, I wanted to kill her. It's like he was raging that she'd done it by accident.
And the way the guy gets it through his eye, yeah. The knife through his eye. Oh, yeah. That was a fair one. The weird one slinging sharpshooter says, Tommy was like, at this point, I fudged up, and the end, he should have never said evil dies tonight. True, unless it was a double entendre. And he was the evil. Which I don't think was.
Somebody done one of the Leo DiCaprio memes. Have you seen the ones where you'll have seen Leo memes where he's like, somebody done that but put Michael Myers' face on it. Like evil dies tonight.
Not Disney.
Disney.
Mate, this is what I'll say about this, right? Which is why it says everything it needs to be. Whoa. Halloween 2018. He gets bested after killing people. He's just at the clink. He's like, right, how do we do this again? Oh, it's like this, right? It's like this. Oh yeah, I like doing this, right? Then he gets bested, and as he's there in the wee gun cellar, and fires engulfing the house, he's like, that bastards, man, bastards. I was enjoying this. Gets his second chance. He's out. Now it's like, nah. The deal's on. Michael Myers needed his credibility, right? To the point where we needed to build Michael Myers as unstoppable. Otherwise, he's no threat and Halloween Ends. This movie was basically giving Michael Myers back his credibility because he lost it at the end of Halloween 2018. He did lose it. Why? He got bested by 3 women.
Yeah, I mean, in this one, he obviously bests the gang. He bests the town.
Mate,
Well,
he fucking slays them all.
Yeah, but one thing I'm going to say about that scene is I hated the way that was shot. I hated the slow motion. I just wanted to see him get up and go Raj. Seeing it all in slow motion took it away from me. I think they could have done that better.
The weird one slinging sharpshooter says the people in Halloween Kills make stormtroopers look like they have good aim. That's accurate. And by the way, here's a good point, right? Oh, you've just got Michael Myers to the ground. You've all shot and stabbed, kicked him. Let's walk away and leave a corpse. Or let's all get some samurai swords and cut him up into tiny pieces. And we'll watch as he's the T-1000 as he morphs back together, or we just put him in a bag.
Because he is kind of a robot.
Because he is kind of a robot. So, you know.
That's
what
what'll happen in the next one. Somebody will grab him, be like scruffy in the neck, and pull him like that, and there'll just be a wee barcode in the back with Silver Shamrock written underneath it.
Oh, mate, see something like that would be. I'm for it. Stego says third movie should now be a close call between them. Yeah, well, I think right. I'm going to call this now. So look back in a year's time to this very podcast. I think Laurie and Michael go out together. That's what I think. I think the only way she's foreshadowed it in the last 2 movies.
Yeah. She even said it in this one. It's like,
let him take my head as I take his.
Again, stupid line.
I know.
Stupid melodramatic pish. I don't understand why they went that way with the dialogue.
Yeah. But like I says, that's how they're going to end. That's how Halloween ends. Laurie and... Which, by the way, so Karen's deed, right? So that's her name's Alison, isn't it? She's the granddaughter. Alison is, yeah. She has lost her mum and dad now to Michael Myers.
And a boyfriend.
And her boyfriend and her friend.
Who, by the way, I actually did feel sorry for him because in the first film, you were like, oh, right, he's a dick just like his dad, right? But then you find out in the second film that his dad is actually an all right guy. And he's actually an all right guy. Then he just gets mashed anyway.
How funny is it? How funny is it? He's like a fucking blow up doll stuffed in the attic. He's like,
actually stuffed in the attic. It's like Michael beat him to death with the attic door.
I know.
That's what it looks like.
His son got it tight, mate. Whoa.
Aye. At first, I kind of thought the broken wood for the banister went through him, but it hadn't. He was just kind of getting his windpipe mashed against the floor, I think. But then obviously he got his neck broken. I'd like to have seen something a bit more gory there. I'd like to have seen him like twist his head right off or something. Be like proper Michael Myers.
Shamrock. Right. The weird one slinging sharpshooter says Laurie lines in the movie were probably just for the trailer. Accurate. Absolutely accurate.
They kind of did with Laurie in this film. They kind of did what they did with her in Halloween 2. She was just in the hospital, kind of out of it for most of the film. But when she was in it, I don't really think she made an impact. I think she was just spouting bad lines. But Loomis is needed.
Hey, I loved how they brought Loomis back.
I could have sworn that was a CGI, like
practical, mate.
Donald Pleasance, but it was just an actor made up to look like him. It was so well done.
Unbelievable. Loved it. Loved seeing Big Pleasance back on the screen. But like you say, Matthew, man, bet Loomis isn't dead. He shot me 6 times. Can't beat it. Stego says would have been class if Hulk Hogan leg dropped the head off him from the top of the stairs. Brother,
that'd have been slightly out of place, but it would have been entertaining.
Slightly out of place, brother.
Aye. In fact, that's how they should end the next one: a showdown between Hulk Hogan and Michael Myers.
Aye. That would be something. The sharpshooter says,
Killer Mania.
I heard Halloween Ends is going to show a lot more flashbacks. Heard this also, which I'm all for. So if we're getting flashbacks to Halloween 3, where we find that Michael Myers is kind of a robot, then I'm all for that. I quite like them piecing more of the puzzle. If we're going to get a lot more flashbacks, then maybe we could get something that helps us understand Michael a lot more.
This
Yeah.
is the Jibber Jabber Yawn podcast.
Sorry, mate. I'm not even going to. Not even going to.
So where were we? Aye, the old couple that get killed at the start, right? The when he stabs her in the neck with a fluorescent light tube, which was again pretty inventive, pretty cool. And then I don't know. See when he was putting all the knives into the back of the old fella. Was
what was
that
that
him?
all about?
Was he like trying to pick a weapon? That was the impression I got. That he was going, "What will I take with me? What will I take with me? Nah, this one's shite. This one's shite." And then he just looked at that one and went, "That's the one."
I thought he was making a hedgehog.
thought he was making one of the was it the potatoes wrapped in foil that you stick toothpicks in with like pickle and cheese on them? One of them. But
cocktail sticks.
That's what it was like. So again, that was kind of funny in a weird way. It was a really dark humor. He's just like, nah.
I was laughing at quite a lot of that stuff.
Nah. I liked the bit where the old guy called Laurie like a crazy woman. And she's like, hey, don't you be talking about a woman like that. She'll kick your ass.
It was really good. Magda Mean says he is the Shamrock. Could be, absolutely could be. The sharpshooter says Michael was like, not a good knife, not a good knife, not a good knife, a good knife.
It's not a knife. It's a knife.
Absolutely.
So that was pretty decent. And they killed the two gay guys. Unfortunately, you don't see Big John getting killed. He gets killed off screen.
He just screams.
But Little John gets a fucking sore one. Like,
mate, that's the only part where I was like, that looks really fake. I looked at his head being squashed.
The eye gouge.
It looked really fake.
But I loved that. I didn't spot any CGI blood effects in this whole film, and that made me happy. I hate CGI blood spatter. I think it just takes me out of a film. It makes it look cheap and nasty. Like one of the worst films for that is Battle Royale. It was back in the days where they were really just starting to experiment with it, and it looks fucking terrible. But Freddy versus Jason is full of it. Most modern slashers are actually full of CGI blood spatter, but this one went for like just good old fashioned corn syrup. And that I actually was happy with that. That head squish that he said looked fake. It was a wee bit Paul Verhoeven Total Recall, but I loved that. That it kind of took me back to when they actually did things properly. Yeah. Oh, my ear is roasting.
The weird one, Slinging Sharpshooter, says, I hate CGI blood. It looks so fake.
It's very rare that it looks good. Very, very rare. I can't even think of an occasion where I've thought to myself, oh, that CGI blood looks good. Or maybe it was so good that I never noticed. But everything in this film was just practical effects, and I loved that about it.
Yeah, it was great. So we're going to pretty much wrap the show up now that we've kind of hit all the spoilers. J-Mac, are you looking forward to Halloween Ends?
Hopefully they can wrap it up nicely. But I like the idea of, like I said a while ago, maybe once they're done, maybe just do a supercut of Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends, make it one kind of big coherent film. Because this film, it does feel like a stepping stone, which is what it is. But man, there was some good kills and it did what it had to do. So
yeah, absolutely. I loved it. I had so much fun doing it and can't wait to watch it again. And I can't wait to do another Halloween episode. We're going to definitely get someone on from the Halloween franchise on this show very soon. And we'll do some more Halloween stuff. We also will be doing the 5 Nights of Horror coming up soon. More on that. So yeah, it's been absolutely amazing. Thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. A lot of you guys left for the spoiler section, but the guys that have stuck with it, thank you for your input. And as always, thanks for following us. If you don't already follow us, smash the subscribe button. Check us out, Facebook, Twitter, all the cool places. We like to get you guys involved always.
We've seen a few names. Sorry, I'll try that again. A few new names showed up tonight as well. So thanks to you guys for coming in. Especially who's that guy with the really long name? The slingshot dude.
The weird one, Slinging Sharpshooter.
That's the guy. Never seen him before. Thanks for coming in and follow us on here and on Facebook as well if you can. Thanks for tuning in, dude.
Absolutely. And see when we next go live and tell us what you'd like us to see. We also do the watch alongs where you guys can watch a movie with us. We always have a right laugh on that. It's always something cheap and nasty, but fun nonetheless. We've got deep dives, we've got the box office banter, and we've got some really cool episodes. We've got some cool stuff coming up, so make sure to stay with us. And if you want to suggest anything you'd like to see, you want to be involved, just check us out at www.jibberjabberpodcast.com, where you can find our email and you can message us directly or on social media. Make sure to get all your tickets for bathgatecinema.co.uk to go and see this movie on the 29th. Also check out what they've got going on there. You can also head into Alloa Cinema in Alloa. You can buy your tickets there at alloacinema.co.uk. Support your local cinema, guys. Also, don't bring your own food, guys. This is how you support the chains.
Yeah.
Right? By bringing your own food. You're
Nothing much
supporting
more
the
to say
big
on that.
chains.
These guys basically make zero from ticket sales. So buy your tickets and just all it takes is to buy a drink and a packet of popcorn. Do you know what I mean? Just support the cinema. Don't rip the piss.
Absolutely. And on that note, lads, it's been class, and we will see you guys very soon. J-Mac.
Good evening. Whose mask was better?